imagine spring break pretty much every day. Yeah. So, it was a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. I wheel this cooler in at, almost 11, full of beer. And this guy is kind of like drifting in the water. And I open up my cooler to get out a Bud Light Lime. And this guy leans over and he's like, can I get one of those? I was like, yeah, man, of course. What's your name? He's like, I'm Brandon. I was like, cool, I'm Rob. And that was pretty much it. Like we kind of hit it off.
And I hear Van Halen in the back of
the time we didn't know the world had some bigger plans. But when it comes to the sleep stuff, we were...
It would have been after I went to met up with you in December. We had a buddy of mine from dental school getting married in Thailand. Yeah. And we were all invited. There's like 30 people, maybe a couple mansions, like up in this like rainforest on Koh Samui. And you said I just woke up the one day and just taking an appliance out or something. You're like, what the heck is that thing? We
were running late for something, and I kind of like kicked the door in or whatever, and was like, dude, what are you taking out of your mouth? Which isn't really isn't typically a question that you'd ask when you get
in Thailand.
Okay, just thickens the plot.
Well, baby, you've been on my mind. I think about you all the time. Oh, I wanna see your face.
I'm not in charge.
So who made dinner proposals? I'm blowing this up.
Well, what happened was...
Nope, wait till we start rolling.
We're rolling.
Do you want to sit here? Or
you want a striker? Rebecca Creek?
You want to sit here? Still on the inside?
Striker.
You're going to need a micro. There's your micro.
That's your mic right there.
This is, dude, I mean, you got this. This is a good setup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, I'll just be the trash can. That works. You just hand my way. I'll just.
You got an inside seat. I move around way too much.
I do too.
I'm fidgety.
There's a drinking game.
No, I think we got the whiskey in here, babe.
I'm fine.
I got a beer and a whiskey. What do you think about that?
I think that sounds dangerous.
Well, that is my middle name.
Is your girlfriend around?
She's in bed.
Is that what?
Yeah, I thought you said she was in bed.
Okay. She's in the room. Oh,
yeah. She might not be so loud.
She's trying to rest in there, but you assholes.
Banging on the garage door and shit.
Yeah.
No, she was. We had a bad, rough night of sleep. There's a blue bin in the corner of the kitchen, dining room.
It's a little
area.
I like to make money.
Yeah, this Ben's.
The dentists get the big cups because they're bigger.
Cool.
How do we? This one too. Oh, that's probably good.
Cool.
That's for
well, I tell you what.
because we're still drinking beer.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Dennis,
that's what's up.
Sir?
Oh my god.
We have fun.
So, and this is probably adjustable.
Yes.
Got a little loose.
Just touch the tip. Just the tip, Rob. You played that game.
I thought at high school prom. Maybe.
Whoa, hey. Man.
Does it count?
You went to a high school prom?
Here's the question.
Oh, wait. Is this on camera?
Does it count if it's just a tip? Do you count it?
Yeah, it really, you want to set those boundaries.
We had a friend in dental school. She said it didn't count.
Man, I bet she was popular. All right.
Sure.
So before we get this podcast started, hold on. Let me just get this straight. Y'all have dinner plans. Let's just come on.
We're going. We have dinner plans.
Okay, when you say we, like
That's a good question.
Okay, my colleagues and I
okay,
that belong to a group together.
that's fair.
That
That's fair.
that
That's fair.
you don't
That's fair.
belong to.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Said, hey, do you want to go to dinner? We're coming to town for your podcast, which
Right.
I didn't even know they were coming to town for the podcast. So I said, oh, fuck yeah, cool. Let's do dinner
Mhm.
if you're coming to town for the podcast.
Right.
So then I simply said, hook it up with Alyssa.
Right.
And then she made all the plans.
Right.
And I'm sorry that I forgot about you.
I'm a little hurt.
I'm really sorry.
I mean, I'm not part of NAMBLA, but that group you're part of, right?
You're welcome to come to dinner.
Oh my
We're
Okay.
going to Fonda,
Um,
San Miguel.
I would love to.
Good place here. in
Was that
Austin.
really an invite?
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, about guilting you into an invite?
Kinda.
It feels like it.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a guilt fight.
Guilt fight?
Yeah.
We just came up with
I'm
something.
not sure. Yeah, I mean, who makes a table for 5 anyway? There's got to be an extra seat.
I have a date.
Yeah.
No. We have 5 of us.
So you
there's
can be
one
my
extra
date.
seat. So you can be
Oh.
number 6.
So am I invited?
If you want to come, you can come.
But what if I want to bring somebody?
That's pushing boundaries. Yeah. It's pushing boundaries.
All right, let's get started. I would love to come to dinner with you guys. If I truly am invited, I'll come.
Yes.
But I can sit at the bar. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, you just sit at the bar and come check in on us.
I really do. I'm good at that.
And bring us
And
drinks.
just-
I would love to.
Just pick up the
Do
bill.
you
at
want
the
me to
end.
get a job there is what you're saying? All right. So first of all, I got to do a little history, but we need to cheers. So we are drinking Striker, which has become a stable. Handsome Dan. Handsome Dan.
Yes.
How do we say the word Blanco? I say Blanco. This is made in Blanco, Texas. This is
Blanco.
Striker.
It's Blanco, Texas.
I have been by there 3 times now to let them know how much our podcast really loves their whiskey. And they say, that's great. And we really do love Striker. So it's smoked single malt. It's delicious. And we are so looking forward to them becoming one of our sponsors one day. On that note, we have some guests. We have some very special guests that I will let Brandon introduce since he didn't know they were doing our podcast.
Honored to have the pride of Ohio here in Austin, Texas. We have Rob Kibler and Dr. Brandon Canfield.
Hello.
Gentlemen, this is a tradition unlike any other.
That's right.
Cheers. And thank you for sleeping around with Dr. Brandon and Matthew.
Striker.
Ooh, hey, yeah. Whoa. So here's a little backstory. People know that I am like the rookie in the room. My company decided to host what we called a Psalm Summit. I invited Brandon Hedgecock to come. He couldn't come. He had plans for whatever. I don't know if it was one of those NAMBLA events or whatever. So we had it in Arizona. And the very first day I show up, the first thing I like to do when I get to the Phoenician, a beautiful place, is practically get naked, get on my swimsuit, and go to the pool and have a drink. And who do I meet at the pool?
2 other practically naked drinks.
Dang right I did. I met lifelong brothers is what I meant. So we start drinking and talking and laughing and getting along. And one of you guys goes, hey, do you know Hedgecock? And, when you get asked that enough times, you kind of go, well, what do you mean?
How do you know him?
In what way?
Yeah.
Because we hadn't started the podcast. I mean, this is way back. And I said, heck yeah, man. He's a good dude. Yeah. So we took a picture, shirtless.
Yeah.
Of course. Sent it to Brandon.
Got it.
And we said, we miss you, man.
That's
Wish
my
you were here. Wish you were here. And so that's how I got to know you two guys. And so thank you for coming to the Psalm Summit, unlike Brandon, who I invited to come. But no, just thank you for your friendship ever since then. We've stayed in touch. Yeah. I got to hear how you guys are tied to this guy. So we're going to dive into a couple of different things. Y'all's relationship, because your man love is equal to Brandon and I's.
Strong. Yeah.
Number 2, Ohio Sleep Solutions. We got to definitely talk about that. And we're going to talk about the iOS connection, correct? And Brandon's relationship with you guys. And then I think we're just going to make fun of Handsome Dan and talk about life after that. Does that sound like a plan?
I like it.
All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, Brandon, how do you know these two guys?
I met these guys through the International Academy of Sleep. It was actually, I didn't meet Rob at first. I met Brandon and I met Colin. And y'all came down, I think. You were
I did.
Yeah, Brandon came down. He was like, and I guess Rob came down too the first time.
That was a year after that.
Okay.
What year are we talking? I like to.
This is December of 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to the reveal in Miami in November 2017. And then Avi was like, hey, go down to Austin, see Brandon, how he does it. I didn't know very much about dental sleep medicine at all at that point. And so it just came down with KJ and
yeah, that's right. KJ was here too. Yeah. So, occasionally people are looking at starting dental sleep medicine and they're kind of like, man, and then they're looking at iOS and they're like, this is kind of a big deal. Do I really want to do this? And so, I'm always kind of welcoming people to the practice. And if you want to come down and see what we do, I can show you what we've done. And obviously the goal is to try and help you do some of this yourselves and help you grow to that point where you can do it yourself.
And in all fairness, I have sat through one of those days and it's really good.
Yeah.
No jokes aside. I mean, you have a packed house in your office, man, of eager dentists and learning. And so what was that like meeting for the first time? I love asking people this question. because I talked about it on our very first podcast and how I met Brandon and his persona and so be honest.
Yeah,
with
I mean,
yeah, come on, Rob, jump.
at that point in time it was pretty normal. Like he was at the office, so he wasn't really out of control. I think
I don't know. No, cut. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think it was till like we had iOS meetings where you gave lectures and you were dropping F-bombs multiple times that I realized who you were.
Yeah, he's a sinner.
Yeah.
He's a sinner. And what about you? What was your experience? Because you're not a dentist. So you're like me. We're just normal people.
A normal guy.
Yeah.
No
February
letters.
2018. Then right after that is when we were in Thailand.
I think it was the summer. Well, we went to visit.
Well, yeah. Then that was in August.
Yeah.
Or September.
Football.
Yeah, it's football time.
Yeah.
Football. I think we went to a game.
We
Was
did.
that the second time.
So it was September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's normal.
Really? He just gave you 3 examples. And you said, I don't know.
Well, no. You said to them, the question is their question.
Yeah.
What was it like meeting the Brandon Hedge?
And you notice they didn't answer. It's like you have a power over them. Did y'all notice that out there? We have an audience this time.
Interesting to me that someone who was a doctor could have such charisma on stage. You know, could speak intelligently and be funny. And I was like, holy shit! Like I guess these guys aren't so bad. You know, being like one of the non-doctors in the room, it was cool to be like, okay, well, I could get along with this guy. I could learn from this guy. So,
well, I will tell you, I think that this room right here, just the energy, right, is what I get from Brandon as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm blessed enough that I get to live in Texas in a good state, and we get to actually have great weather and no COVID, but I get to hang out with this guy. And
not COVID
so I
here
do
yet?
get to see that other side, right, that
Yeah.
you guys got to do. But let's talk about y'all's 2 relationship. How long have you 2 guys worked together?
Well,
We've known
Well, hold
each other.
on. What is your exact role, Rob,
Yeah.
besides handsome stand-in?
Yeah.
What is the
that's further down the resume, but business development, you know, going out kind of like you, just, you know, introducing our practice to physicians and working on operations and stuff. I think me and my wife painted the walls at our practice. So
Every part.
that almost sounded dirty. Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
No,
dear.
he does
I
every
said
part of the
almost.
business, you know, and he does the marketing.
Did y'all go back at all, or did you just come in and interview
So,
one
so
day?
we go back to the summer 2009.
Come on.
And that was right before I started dental school, so I had no responsibilities. And we hung out almost every day that summer at the Olentangy Commons pool in Columbus. And
so I wheeling this blue cooler into the pool one day. It's probably
Hold on. Is this
yeah.
a community pool?
Yeah, well, we
I'm
didn't.
not laughing. I'm just
No,
trying to paint the picture.
None of us
Yeah.
lived there.
It-
Like either of us lived
I
there. We
actually
just-
lived there at the time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's actually good to know.
Hold on.
So it's just a community pool. Like
Right.
imagine spring break pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. I wheel this cooler in at, you know, almost 11, full of beer. And this guy is kind of like drifting in the water. And I open up my cooler to get out a Bud Light Lime. And this guy leans over and he's like, can I get one of those? I was like, yeah, man, of course. What's your name? He's like, I'm Brandon. I was like, cool, I'm Rob. And that was pretty much it. Like we kind of hit it off.
And I hear
after
Van
that
Halen
point.
in the background.
Well, at the time we didn't know the world had some bigger plans, but when it comes to the sleep stuff, we were.
Yeah, it would have been after I went to met up with you in December. We had a buddy of mine from dental school getting married in Thailand.
Yeah.
And we were all invited. There's like 30 people, maybe a couple mansions, like up in this like rainforest on Koh Samui. And you said I just woke up the one day and just taking an appliance out or something. You're like, what the heck is that thing?
We were running late for something, and I kind of like kicked the door in or whatever, and was like, dude, what are you taking out of your mouth? You know, which isn't really isn't typically a question that you'd ask when you get
in Thailand.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just thickens the plot. But it was a ProSomnus oral appliance, and he's like, I just got into this business, and I was like, you know, we've got a couple hours in the pool to drink beers and overlook the rainforest. Like, tell me about this business idea. You know, he seemed
100%
super excited.
how it went down. Yeah, we talked like 2 hours in the pool, just overlooking this rainforest.
Yeah. So at the time I was doing business development for like an insurance firm. So it was my job to go out and get past gatekeepers and grow the book of business and stuff like that. Was living in Virginia and looking for a reason to get back home to Ohio. And we just one thing led to another. And you know,
July.
I think I moved home in July.
Yeah.
So
now you had a stint in the military.
Yeah.
As well,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Now, was that in between then and then, or was that earlier
That's-
before ever even meeting?
Yeah, so that was before. So I was in the National Guard, kind of like the Boy Scouts. So I was able to do my military service.
Hold on.
Okay, it's not regular active duty.
Thank you for your service. I take it very. I really do.
Yeah.
Like,
appreciate that,
dude.
Yeah.
It's
the risk is there. The risk is there for everybody,
did you
right?
see those 2 National Guard helicopters go down in Snowbird last week?
No.
Recently? Yeah, no, I
like
didn't see
last
that.
week, which is many weeks before this will ever show.
Sure.
But yeah, 2 helicopters went down in Snowbird. Thank goodness for soft POW because nobody was injured.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 Blackhawks.
Is POW like the cool word for powder?
Yeah.
That's powder.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that
Soft
now that
powder.
you're snowboarding, I saw your post, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like you're trying to use the lingo.
Well, shred the gnar.
That jargon's gonna keep going over.
Rip the cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip the cord I'm with. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can do that. But
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't love ripping the cord. I mean, that's kind of, if there's nothing else.
No, you're dating somebody
I
now.
would much rather shred the POW.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, when you say it like that,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense to me. So
Well, I'm just saying.
Can
if
we
you-
go back
if
to
you've
your
ever
service?
shredded POW,
Here
like
we go.
I've shredded POW.
yeah,
You'd understand.
you look a lot like a POW shredder.
I, you know.
Yeah.
You don't.
Thank you.
Anyway, so
I feel like Matt's got an agenda, so we should stick to that.
well,
maybe.
one of us has
Yeah.
to during the podcast. Kind of keep
Yeah.
it going.
Okay.
So no, I did not know that about you. So you did
Yeah,
National Guard.
So I was in college, and I grew up pretty poor, so I didn't really know how to pay for it. So the military was my way to get to
Awesome.
college and get that paid for. And what I was studying in school has nothing to fucking do with what we're doing now,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to be Jason Bourne, but this other dude named Matt had that job already, so I wasn't. So I just kind of like moved to Virginia after school and started to work in e-commerce with a friend of mine, and ended up kind of back here.
So you're
years
doing
later, so.
e-commerce and then insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was this guy had started this like online book business like out of his closet, and then he was like, hey, before you, because I was supposed to go overseas to do a contract with a company called USAID, help build some roads and stuff in Morocco.
Yeah.
I had an Arabic minor, so they kind of wanted to send me over there to do that stuff. But the contract went away in the fall, and I was kind of like trying to figure out what to do in the meantime. And my buddy Joe's like, hey, you should come down and help me sell these books.
Mm-hmm.
Joe was
like-
also at the Onetangy Commons pool that summer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's how we all know each other.
You guys in Ohio, I don't imagine that you float rivers. Do you float rivers?
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
like-
like down here.
But like tubing, like
Yeah.
in an inner tube floating the river.
We did that with our big group of friends. Like 15 of us got together, tied together, but it was ice
Yeah.
cold.
No. Y'all
we
need
would do
to
that
come
in
down in the
James.
summertime.
I agree.
Y'all need to come down in the summertime
I agree.
and float the Guadalupe.
You will hear
you
Sweet
flown
Home
Guadalupe?
Alabama
Yeah.
266 times.
No, because I'm talking.
It's
You
fun.
get. You
I
get
do
a
the
separate-
coal mound.
You get a
Yeah.
separate
Coal mound.
cooler for your beer.
It's
about
so we had
an
a
hour
floating
south of
cooler.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, you do the coal mound
Yeah.
now. We're a little.
No,
older.
we
he
don't
likes
do-
the little.
No, we do the
kids,
Guadalupe, dude.
So you just
Yeah.
kind of link
All
up.
right, well,
so
we will-
tame.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Literally.
details at the end
Okay.
of the show.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So it's interesting though because you and I'm no offense to you, but you're a dentist.
It's true.
And
No
it's,
offense to you.
it's not a far stretch for a dentist to learn how to make oral appliances and then say, I want to make more oral appliances and get into dental sleep medicine. Okay. So that happens every day. And many days people figure it out. We all know that treating patients is amazing in dental sleep medicine.
Mm.
But what's different is there's not a lot of use out there in terms of I'm going to help create
Mhm.
and build and run a strictly dental sleep medicine practice.
Right.
And so, you have to understand that you're one of the, 5% of all the dentists out there or all the dental sleep practices out there that have a U. Not everybody has a Rob.
It's true.
Don't you think that those practices, like it's a big commitment to bring someone like that on? But is it the case? Because you see a lot of dentists, you see a lot of practice. So do you. If there's someone in place that's doing that shit, like isn't that a better idea?
Well, again,
no?
I've stated this many times. Brandon is a unicorn.
Sure.
So Brandon, I just met his newest salesperson. It might be the newest one I just met, and Ben,
Ben 10.
and he's awesome. But
Isn't he awesome?
he is.
Shout out to Ben 10.
But not everybody
Shut up,
is
Ben 10.
able to have a Rob or I'm being serious.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we do at SomnoMed, right? I kind of do that, but I can't do that you just can't. I can't be everywhere. And I think where Brandon's kind of leading to this is, and when I had you guys talked at the Som Summit, that investment pays off.
Absolutely.
There's so many dentists, whether it be iOS or other organizations that are scared. They think they can do it themselves and they have no personality.
Yeah, I was just talking to one of our members. Y'all know.
We're not going to say names. Are we? We really are? We're going to say
We
names?
should say names.
Okay.
Not my
So-
podcast. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sure.
Zoof.
Yeah,
Y'all know
yeah,
Zoof.
Yeah.
He's a good fucking dude.
Yeah.
And he's struggled with hiring and managing people. And he's also struggled with volume. And so he's had a hard time making a commitment. But in the last year, he's really turned it around and he's made this commitment. But, for a long time there, and a lot of our members, you guys probably know this because you run into them. For a long time there, a lot of people are like, yeah, they're taking their own phone calls. The dentist is scheduling their own patients. The dentist is going out and meeting doctors. The dentist is then treating the patients. Then the dentist is, calling their doctor's office to compile all the data and the information.
Yep.
I mean,
And the billing.
it
and
is
the-
so
yep.
much,
Big ass.
and it's not worth their time to be doing this, and they're stunting their own growth. And so the investment that you made, and kudos to
Right off the
you
bat.
right off the bat. And I told Brandon this, because I was a stubborn, stupid dentist that waited forever to hire somebody, and I had my dental team working double time and getting stressed out. If I had to do it over again, or anywhere that I expand to, we're hiring those people right when we expand.
Mhm.
And I think me shadowing you right off the bat, I thought that was the way to go, and just make it dental sleep only. Like how many times we hear like my hygienist doesn't buy into it, so my patients don't get one.
Yeah.
And and I'm blessed so much that Rob took that position, because somebody else wouldn't have done what he's done. Like he's a unicorn too. And
Well,
his
I will-
passion for it. And
I
like,
will
what he's
say
done,
this: y'all
like,
have a listen. And again, I'm very biased because I really do love you guys. You guys are cool as shit. But even your latest video, which should be a viral sensation, guys. It's a takeoff office space, but just the little videos you guys do. I know one of the biggest supporters we had for the podcast are these two guys right here.
Really?
Oh yeah. When I first launched it, I was like,
yeah.
and they were just like, oh my gosh, you two guys together. I'm like, who could have seen it? But
It was going to be a hit already.
and I'm like,
before it
it's,
started.
I'm with Brandon.
So,
but no, they were the biggest supporters because they get it. We have to think outside the box if we're going to get patients treated.
Mhm.
We have to think outside of the box if we're going to get the message out there. Somebody just did the podcast, John Neerman, awesome guy. We got to his new vision. We've got to think outside of the box. We can't keep doing what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And the issue is, even with the companies, right? Manufacturers, it's the same old way isn't going to work. And with the recall that happened, we're still in a pandemic, and there just needs to be different ways. You guys are kind of, when I first met you guys and saw how y'all get along, is really kind of how Brandon and I do. And why we do the podcast with Handsome Dan is getting that message out there to an audience that says, shit, I can wear an oral device and be cool.
Yeah.
Or you know what? We promote CPAP. Hell, today we just launched an episode on Excite, which strengthens my tongue. And now that I'm single,
mine
it
tomorrow.
is strong.
Yeah.
Strong
Yeah.
tongue.
That's
20
that's a good single man's
It's
move.
strong.
That's a great idea.
It's strong.
speaking of excited, this is yours or this is mine?
Oh, like,
Doesn't matter at this point.
Oh,
oh my
next
gosh.
level.
It's not mine. I do use mine.
It's not
honest to
yours?
God. No,
Bet
I
you
do
do.
use mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting
So
mine
you're
tomorrow.
trying it out, huh?
It's awesome.
Yeah, you're getting one too, aren't you?
tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, during the podcast, which got launched today, I know we're on weird podcast time. When they put it on me, Brent, they crank it up
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
be funny, but man, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And
The
my point
fatigue's
being, we got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You two guys do an amazing job. There was a rep that worked for SomnoMed that there was a rep, TP, and she loved working with you guys. And I got it when I first met you guys. I go, oh my gosh, because y'all get up every day thinking of new ideas on how to
100%,
grow
yeah.
the business.
Yeah.
I call on dentists all the time, guys. I call on physicians all the time. They don't think that way. They're trying to still figure out how to fix the filter from Philips. Like, can we order some plastic? Can we do? They're not thinking like you guys do and like Brandon does. So it's an honor to have you.
I think
guys.
one of the things that we probably that made, I don't know, I wouldn't say make this so easy, but one of the things that when you remove sort of this medium of therapy, whatever, and you realize there's people on the other side of this, and like you have a story, you have an incredible, you're patient fucking zero, and you're why the practice got started. When you put that behind or aside, and you just like, God, there's people on the other side, and the only job that you have is to connect with these people and get them from where they are, which is fucking miserable, to where they want to be, which is like so many people that you treated and feel amazing, and you know all the benefits of treating sleep apnea. Once you kind of like just decide that that's your mission, you know, a lot of stuff changes.
We did that really early. Hug us and tell them, you know, we save their marriage, you're back in bed with their spouse.
After we check their vaccine card. But
Did the vaccine card save their marriage? Or, actually, I think the pandemic's over tonight. I think officially.
Well, I saw Target drop the mandate, so I think it's.
Well, we haven't had a mandate here in Texas for quite a while.
Freedom mandate.
We've had a freedom mandate for sure. So. we had no, never mind.
Sure.
Zellner went off on the FDA, and the government was kind of interesting, and I enjoyed that. So patient zero.
So that was another part of the story too. In between coming here in December, I think I just maybe got my appliance that week.
Yeah.
And it changed my life. Like, it was just amazing how much more energy I had, like lack of, headaches in the morning.
Well, you'd already met us though.
Met you guys.
You'd already kind of thought, I'm interested.
Are you trying to take credit for this?
No.
No, I knew I had an issue, and I was like, "Ooh,
what was it that pushed you?" Because you're, I'm just gonna shoot them straight here. Mm-hmm. You've been a pretty successful dentist. You've got quite a few dental practices. You still own dental clinics, right?
Correct.
Do you still practice as a dentist?
Correct.
And you have associates that work for you as well.
I do.
Partners. How many and partners?
Yep.
So how big is your dental, not sleep, but dental empire?
So right now, I've opened 4 scratch start offices. Okay. I still own 2 of them.
Okay.
One, we have 6 doctors now, 4 partners, and 2 associates. We run 3 at a time.
Yep.
And
the other 2 you sold, you split. Sold the other 2.
Yeah, sold the partnerships, and then the newer one just opened a year ago. I have 1 partner there and 2 associates, and I usually just work there every other Wednesday.
Yeah. So you're not just a dentist, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you've built and expanded the dental practice.
Yeah.
So you've got this successful dental business going on. You've got associates and partners. I'm sure things are going fine there. Why even think about and look into dental sleep medicine?
Because it changed my life. I had days off where I wasn't doing anything. Like, we worked 12-hour days. I usually had like 2 weekdays off. So did my partner, Colin. Colin's not with us today, obviously, but he's a big part of our business as well too. And me and him are partners in my bigger dental office. And we just work opposite each other. We're available almost every single day to get this other business off the ground. And Colin was also down at the iOS reveal.
Yeah.
And so we actually hatched together like a business plan that very first night. Being down in Miami, we went back to our hotel instead of even going out to the bars that night. We just stayed in our hotel room, scratched out a whole business idea till like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I came in, I saw Avi next morning, like, hey, can we do this? Can we buy in and learn more? And
well, let's go back to you though. Yeah. So you were talking about, so you're patient zero. So you were like, dude, I'm tired every other day. On my days off, I don't want to get out of bed.
I was falling asleep at the dinner table with friends, and like, everybody's like, you're just working too hard. You have too much business going on. And then once I started treating it, I was like, that's why I was dragging ass all those years.
Yeah.
And
did you test yourself?
Yeah.
And what did the test show?
It showed I had mild at the time, which I'm pretty sure it's more closer to severe at this point. Because I actually had to do a baseline recently before I got this excited. And I had to about halfway through put in my appliance, and it was still like 59.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So, and I knew it was bad. But
thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
No, I'm
treating it so well with the appliance. Like, I just recently got a new one, put some elastics on it, and like my girlfriend says, like, I don't snore at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, and so
you noticed the difference right away.
And that's why when I'm talking to Rob there in Thailand, I was so passionate about it. I'm like, dude, like, this is gonna be huge. Like, nobody wants to do CPAP. I ignored my snoring for years because I didn't want to do a CPAP. Right. And I didn't know these were a thing though. They don't talk about them in dental school. Like, 10-minute part of an ortho lecture our third year, maybe that
If
we're all
that.
sleeping through.
Yeah.
And being on the field, we just didn't know about it. And I think it's really coming along recently though, with the people becoming more aware of it.
Well, it's funny because I think so my whole background was breathing and sleep, right? And so getting into this world and then meeting Brandon, right? Who's just, but I had no idea that it's not even touched. And so there's, and you guys will understand this, and Brandon is, y'all can you two especially can jump in, but you'll get it. It's like you got these dentists who try it one time, not on themselves, on a patient. It costs this, but they don't want to do it, but they don't really buy it. Like they don't get it. You said it's about the person, and that's what I believe. I believe servant leadership is what it's about. And I'll say something controversial on this podcast. I think CPAP's great. I think CPAP's awesome.
I think
and if you can tolerate it, awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm being dead serious.
Whatever,
if you can do surgeries, awesome. Yep. I think Inspire, amazing. I think Respicardia, now Zoll, what they sell, awesome. Anything that can help someone breathe is good.
Yep.
But it's dentists who don't see the value. Then they think money first. They go to a conference, not yours. They go, well, I can make money out of this, but they still don't have that passion or that tie-in. Yeah. Brandon, that's what makes you different. It really does, because of your own, then you get it. And the first thing you said out of your mouth was, it's the hugs that I get.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people do do that? And I do think that money follows good deeds. Yeah. And if we're serving and if we're doing the right thing, then we'll get wealthy. But it's what you're offering. Is it a fair statement to say that your contemporaries or the other people that you've talked to, they don't see that, they don't see the value. They don't see the value.
Maybe the why just isn't as
not money
value.
Value in treating sleep.
Yeah. It's probably just like they don't have a purpose. You know what I mean? The purpose is either money or someone told them to try this or whatever. So they get frustrated pretty easily. So there's nothing to there's so many dentists in iOS, like I think Chad Denman and a couple other ones who have had close personal, they've lost. Because of, who's the guy from Michigan? They always give shit to
Ross.
Lost because of sleep apnea. So those guys have been coming to meetings since day one, and they're just on it and on it and on it. So when you have something to connect to, when it's your mission to change lives, it's not just getting fucking claims processed, right?
I feel some dentists just like they went to 4 years of school learning how to hammer and chisel and create dust. And
tooth dust.
Yeah.
Tooth dust.
And they think that's how they need to live their life, is getting paid making dust, when they can really get, a lot more satisfaction helping people, and it's not backbreaking either. Like, we know some people that got into it because they had neck surgeries, back surgeries, tremors or something, because you can still do dental sleep medicine. So You're more of a physician.
Because dentistry is physically demanding.
Yeah. It's
brutal. It's brutal on the body.
Yeah.
And it's not so brutal when you only have to do it, so often. How many days a week you do dentistry now?
Usually 2 to 3.
Just 2 to 3 a week?
Yeah.
Well, you're still working too hard. Jesus.
So I got extraction elbow right now.
Yeah.
That's not
dry
striker
needling.
elbow.
Dry needling. Can help that. Yeah.
Well, I do. And it's funny because I do want to have a podcast over that. I do agree with you. I think the bending over, the working on, I'm dead serious. I mean, I know we're kind of being,
No. It is physically demanding. I mean, we know Jenny hits 3 days and she gets headaches, neck tension, neck tightness.
Hang out with you or the practice?
That's good.
What do you mean 3 days?
3 days of dentistry.
3 full days?
3 full days of dentistry.
3 full days.
3 full days of dentistry. And so the days that as soon as she works more than 3, it's like a week of headaches. And neck tension and all that kind of stuff. For me, it's as soon as I work more than 1, it's lower back. And then it's like, so it's physically demanding, but sleep is not. It's so much more in terms of, the amount of what we do in the mouth is like this much.
I love it.
Compared to all the talking and the history and the education and the connections with the patients that we have, which is really what's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the business.
Yep. I was getting ready to go there.
Sure. Early on, it's really cool to see this actually. Early on, there's always lots of questions, lots of, how do you do this? Let me come see you. Let me watch, let me talk. Let me, what would you do here? There's lots of emails back and forth. And I remember like, we're starting the business. Here's a spreadsheet. What do you think of this? Yeah. And I'm like, it looks awesome, but change this or do this. Okay. Here's 2.0. What do you think of this? Yeah, go for it.
Were you their mentor? Do you mind if I ask that? Were you his mentor?
Yeah.
Or was Matt? Okay.
I use that word when I describe him.
Yeah.
No, because I thought y'all
100%.
had
I
it.
wasn't
I'm not
theoretically.
being-
I don't think I was ever like your like
Never a
coach.
coach.
No.
Coach.
Right.
You know, and that's
That's what
kind
I
of
meant.
evolved over time. You know, and they came on in the early days of iOS.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
quite honestly, like they were in the early days of iOS when we hadn't really grown iOS. I wasn't really even
So
working for them.
There
at that
wasn't a
time.
coach, so to
They didn't
speak.
have that.
We didn't have all the support that we have now.
Okay.
And the systems that we have now and a lot of that stuff, it was kind of being built as we went along because iOS was a new company.
Okay.
But we knew that we had, you know, we had support, we had business model, and we had you know, people that were passionate about changing lives.
Right.
Okay. And so if you were passionate about wanting to impact people and do this, you really fit into our group because that's almost everybody in our
And so when
Yeah,
they were
and-
emailing you, texting you, do
Yeah.
all this, you were like, dude, I got you.
Well,
Oh
even-
yeah,
Okay.
no,
Even
100%.
Yeah.
Calls, emails, texts.
Yeah.
Here's what I would
Yep.
do. Yes,
Mhm.
here's how I would do it. Do this, do that. No, do this differently. No, change this. No,
and,
try
and
this.
from you
Even-
guys,
even-
then you're like, dude, this
Yeah,
awesome.
even clinical stuff like device selection at first is kind of challenging
All
for
that.
somebody who doesn't know
Yeah.
it, and like
Right.
you know, challenging cases I'd ask them about. And but we're still in iOS. The dentists we're so great about giving us like their notes, like systems and stuff.
Mhm.
On the way down to Austin, I stopped in Dallas to Rebecca Lauk's office.
Yep.
She had amazing stuff that she gave us.
She's
Yeah.
the
Like,
best.
yeah,
OG.
she's so, you talk about people passionate about what they do. And
Dude,
stuff,
she's
too.
the
great.
OG.
Like, she
Yeah.
sees like all the Dallas
Harley
Cowboys.
riding.
Yeah.
Ooh, she does.
She
mess
rides a
up.
Harley?
Michael, she's friends with Michael Irvin.
Yeah, no, she's got them all.
Dude,
Uh,
she
I went
is
to
the
see
OG.
her.
Loves him.
I was in her office
Ugh.
and they were finishing up a case. And I'm like, what are we waiting on? We got to go. We're going to go do this thing. We had this, you know, thing at the hospital or meeting some sleep doctors or something like that. And like, oh, well, we got to wait on Eric. And I'm like,
Dickerson.
I was like, what do you mean we got to wait on Eric? Who the fuck's Eric? And
Solid
next
question.
thing I know, Eric Dickerson's
Yeah.
walking out. And he's like, hi, I'm Eric. And I'm like, so then I get in a Suburban with
You're like,
Eric
yeah,
and I
she's your
drive to the, and I'm like, hey, and I'm like, it was pretty awesome.
So Eric,
So-
what do you do for a living?
Exactly. So, but let's talk about the business because what's cool about what I do with iOS is seeing people with a dream to start the business, the struggles to start it, and then eventually they kind of don't need me anymore because
You sounded almost sad.
it is kind of sad actually. Eventually they just kind of stop calling and I'm like, I guess they don't like me anymore. But really what's happening is that they evolve to a point where they're just rocking it.
You got to set them free.
And exactly. And
Yep.
so, but tell us about the early days of the business. What were the struggles?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
What were
man.
the struggles that you guys
And our
saw?
audience will love this, guys.
I mean,
Seriously.
it was a lot. We didn't see patients for a long time. Like
Sure.
Rob, you were getting it up and going at that point. Kind of like we were just cranking along.
So what
doing
we
general
like to do is
dentistry
talk
still.
into the mic
Yeah,
when we're on a
yes.
podcast. There you go. Jesus. No, I'm not being funny,
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
our audience can hear.
I mean, we built the framework first. We didn't just jump right into it. And you know, you guys talk about like hiring Rob. How a lot of places don't do that. I don't think a lot of places lay as much groundwork as we did either. But you could probably talk more about it.
A lot of the processes and stuff, we wanted to do the iOS model, which is, kind of go out and work with physicians and get this steady stream of referrals. Well, we had never built a fucking medical practice either, right? So we went about it initially trying to go out and get those sleep coordinators in offices before we really had a good idea of how the patient flow, how it works at the. So we kind of, for a couple months, we kind of spun our wheels on that, and we're like, well, this isn't really. Maybe we should brand.
And
our
this was
company.
totally outside of your dental practice.
Yeah.
So this was not related to your dental practice at all.
We're paying rent at
This is the
a
vision.
spot,
Yep,
and but really, besides the rent cost and the Rob cost, that was our only overhead at the time.
Yeah.
So for me and Colin, it was worth it to get the practice built up correctly.
And that's when Rob started stripping on the side.
yeah,
Okay.
had to do what we had to do to
on the side. I mean, that was my main hustle for a little while.
That's how you met your wife. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't-
More on that later.
But so literally, what are we talking time frame? Because a lot of our audience who watch this podcast, believe it or not, they're like, man, iOS. They're like, dude, how do we do this? Is there a time frame that you can remember?
well,
like
and they
3 or
think it's going to happen fast.
yeah,
That's one thing and that goes back to the mission, right?
you
If
for
you
saying
think
that.
it's going to happen fast and you want it to happen fast, that's great, but you learn a lot through the process.
Right.
patients teach you a lot. Failure will teach you more
Yep.
than anything.
Yeah.
So we made a bunch of mistakes early.
I remember we tried doing like PBS impressions, and like I had my mom in there as the first, and like it was all over her face. We didn't have plumbing in there because like we didn't need it for doing. That's another thing too for these dentists out there. To do dental sleep medicine, you don't need a normal dental office. Like our rent was dirt cheap at this place. It was right off the freeway. It had 2 treatment rooms, nice reception area. That's all we needed.
And a stage on Friday night.
And a stage on Friday night.
You know, we bought barber chairs that were like $400 in autoclave. And that was like our highest outlay. But then we're doing these PBS and it's horrible. There's no plumbing. My mom's having to run down the hall. We're like, this isn't going to work. So we need to get a digital scanner. And that was our biggest investment right off the bat. But it was so worth it.
So I've never called on you guys. We made a joke this week. We were part of a text stream that apparently you weren't part of.
Call it our own group.
And I basically said, please let me be their rep. I would love to be their sales rep. But I'm assuming your business is a lot like one of Brandon's locations, a lot like only 3, by the way, plus Brandon has this. You walk in, you don't know it's a dental office.
No,
it's a sleep treatment for OSA.
Yep.
With watch this, device. Quit calling appliances, guys.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
And so I think an oral device location. And so Brandon has been gracious enough to not only let me be in his practice, but one of his locations I love. You walk in, how many square feet is
730
beautiful.
square feet.
Yeah. Beautiful.
You don't need anything else.
It is, and it's nice and it's welcoming.
Yep.
You walk in, you get scans, it is great job, brother. And there's other people that you saw part of the Psalm Summit up in Virginia, Picano and them do this. Theirs is like a salon.
Sure.
But I've never been to theirs is freaking sweet. I've never been to y'all's. I think that's the vision, but it took how long? From concept to that, staying up till whatever time you said in the morning at iOS, writing it out.
Yeah.
So when it got to where you
1 year before we saw a patient.
Love it.
Yeah. It was November to November.
Brandon, is that something that you guys
From when you signed up to when we
there was that long?
You know, I
Because
think
not everybody's like you.
Well, so
it was long, but because
like,
Rob didn't join until July, so I'd almost throw this first 6 months out because we didn't really do much.
So the first 6 months, y'all were still spinning wheels with your dental practices.
Yeah.
Probably, if I had to guess, not putting as much time into sleep as you could have or should have.
I did it on the side.
You know, but like you said, I got a pretty outgoing personality, but I still don't have the personality to cold call on physicians. It's just most dentists, I don't think are.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't have personality. Anyways, I'm kidding. You have a great personality.
But nobody wants to. I didn't want to do that. It's like, why would I do that?
I agree. I love that you have this guy.
Yeah.
Because the dentists that I talk to and bring them on calls, there's sometimes I just say, I got this.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the training.
Yeah.
They just don't. They're not. Now there's many dentists I know that they're phenomenal. I put them in front of ENT groups and I walk away.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting though, because again, if we go back to passion, I think that shines through, so it doesn't matter if you have the training, if you're a salesperson, if you have a sales background or not. We have so many people that I coach that I would think would be the worst people in a meeting. Like I really am scared to even send them out to a doctor's office. And they go, and because they just are genuine and passionate.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with passion.
It really takes care of it.
But at the end of the day, Brandon, passion can only take us so far. Fair?
True. Now, for them, I would say a year, no patients in your dental practice, no patients screening your dental practice, no patients from your dental practice, completely standalone. I think that's pretty reasonable.
I agree. I agree.
I think maybe you could put the pedal to the metal a little bit. Maybe you shorten that to 6 to 8 months or 10 months. But you gotta find the space. You got to rent the space. You got to finish out the space, probably something. So how much you guys spend finishing out that space?
Not a lot, man. Honestly,
apparently y'all painted the walls.
That was the day after Brandon's 3-day bachelor party, so it took me a couple days to paint those walls. It was tough. But
what were you doing on the bachelor? Never mind. Wow. See, I could keep going there.
We were in New Orleans, but anyway.
He loves
So-
the ones.
Yeah, but I mean, so it took probably. I mean, it wasn't too high a cost to get that thing decked out. Thank God for my wife.
Compared
She-
to a dental practice.
Yeah.
No, it's just
Oh.
nothing. Like, you know, like I said, those
Under
chairs,
25.
like, yeah, I say about 2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I've worked in my current role for a little over a year and a half, and I have some dentists that have taken on 1 or 2 associates that are drilling and filling now. They do all-time sleep. Then I have other dentists that I've been working with the same amount of time that are still good dentists.
Yeah. And not doing much sleep.
And I'm not. They're great dentists. Let me say they're still really great dentists.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's I can imagine the concentration you have just focusing on your guy and going out. I mean, it's
Well, another thing that Rob was kind of alluding to too, he was going out trying to set up that program, and we were getting shot down left and right. And like, you got to pull yourself off the mat after so many rejections, you know, and like,
well, besides being a Tom Cruise stand-in, I'm sure this guy's never heard no.
Rejection was that was a really difficult.
I bet
part
for
me.
you.
I was like, wait a minute, you got because I knew what we were gonna do. Like I
Yeah.
knew the value of the program. I knew what we were trying to incorporate in these physician offices, and they just didn't. I mean, they didn't even want to let me talk about it. You know.
Right.
Now, what?
Exactly.
But
So-
talk about that. What? So going back, I know we interrupted.
Oh, I love
Sure.
this.
Go back to those struggles. You know
Yeah.
what? So why you kind of said, well, we didn't know what we were doing. So to try and sell a program when we don't even know what we're doing and don't have the foundation first, maybe that doesn't make sense. But you know,
I remember there's some raining Robin during that time. It's like, Rob, don't send everybody to me yet. I haven't done many of these. Let me build up my knowledge as we do this. Cause he's like, let's go right on the radio. Right. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, let me treat a few people first and then we can go on the radio. And but
So failures, is that where we were at?
failures and
Sure.
struggles in that first year, or as you finally started to get things rolling. What'd you see there?
So we struggled a lot. So in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, there's a couple of sleep practices privately owned that really have a really good kind of hold on the market. And there's not a ton of privately owned medical practices like primary care or ENT or endo, or most of it is Ohio State, Central Ohio Primary Care, Mount Carmel, or Ohio Health. Yeah. And if you're not, you're fucking weird and no one wants your business anyway.
I don't even think there are any independent.
Yeah. So for the most part, there were a couple of like Ohio Health had a sleep division, and then Ohio Sleep Medicine Institute was like one of the first ever sleep practices in the nation. So they had a really tight grip on the market. So when you go in and say, hey, well, let's put LabCorp for sleep in your office, they're like, actually, we work with this very reputable organization, and it was kind of out the door, buddy. So like after months and months of that rejection and taking Sandler sales courses, talking to Sarah, losing a bunch of sleep, we were like, well, what if we just focused on our own brand first, and then we connected with physicians that way? So when we made the switch to really focus on Ohio sleep treatment, like 3, 4, 5 months in, maybe. Read a really cool book, Building a Story Brand, changed fucking everything that we did.
The website.
Yeah. So then we started really developing our mission and talking about what we wanted to do for the community and how we wanted to connect with physicians and how we wanted to connect with patients from a practice standpoint. And that then we started to pick up 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 devices. I'm like, okay, well, we got some breathing room now. We can we can start to market a little bit. These guys are having some experience, and then
we ended up having my girlfriend Emily doing like part-time marketing. We got on with this program at Ohio State, the handshake program, where
I love that you called it Ohio State. It's not
the Ohio State University.
There's a couple of there's two types of Ohio State alumni. There's the alumni, and then there's just alumni.
There's just plain old
there's people that graduated.
Yeah. But we got
the others didn't go to school there. That's awesome.
Rob, that program gave us like 2 interns to do marketing, then crank data for us.
Nice.
So if you're a dentist, if you're a dentist and you've got a university close by, so many, contact the marketing department, go to the professor, say, hey, we've got, we need this, we need this, we need this. They can make a capstone video. That's how we made the Office Space video.
Joe,
that was a capstone project for 2 marketing interns.
I'm going to tell you right now,
free labor, give them some good job experience.
They loved it. They had a great time.
I'm going to tell you, and watch this one day.
I haven't seen this video. I'm supposing we'll have a link to this video.
So here we go again.
Put it in the show notes.
I think you should just cut it at this point. Just put it on the podcast.
I will tell you. So, so when I met Rob in the pool,
half
with
naked.
our shirts off.
That's how I met him too. So
It was so cool because he introduced himself, and then TP talks me up and my background, and all that. And I tell him what I'm doing for my company. He goes, dude, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I go, really? Because to me, the industry that I'm in oral devices, they just, and I love dentists. I love you guys. I think you guys are great. I think you guys are wonderful. I don't want to call on all of you. I want to find a dentist who knows about sleep, knows about devices, and I want to push all these referrals to them, right? So by calling on the physicians and calling on groups and having these discussions, you and I were like, man, we got in the best conversation. I guess it's something about a pool with him, huh? And having your shirt off.
Yeah.
But he was just like, oh my God, dude, this is what I'm doing. You know, he gets fired up. And I was like, and when he got fired up, I got fired up, and it's infectious.
Yeah.
Having someone like that in your office, and I could speak because I know Brandon's team. I love this guy, Handsome Dan. There's something to be said about coming to work, and you might feel like crap. I know I've had a lot of personal stuff go on, right? I've shared a lot with the podcast. But when you show up to work and you have somebody who's fired up, like like about your team, it does something, doesn't it?
yeah,
Talk a little bit about this
for
guy,
him,
man.
for you early. For you were that person for me even early. Like I would text and you would get a lot of like positive feedback, and it's like those first couple months were rough. I'm like, man, if this fucker can do it, we can do it. Like all the encouragement that you would give, and it's just like, all right, man. Like there's out there, there's a horizon somewhere. So when you have someone like that who's just like, you know,
and again, I don't want to make this about our podcast, but Dan is that for me. Like he's always here first. You know, he's excited about the day.
He's usually here before I am.
Yeah, well,
it's mine.
you live here.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody is here
talk
before.
about that later.
Yeah, everybody's here before him. But there's something to be said, right?
Yeah,
about his
absolutely.
energy and being like, man, I heard 10 no's today.
Yeah.
Any yeses? Not yet.
Yeah.
Like
It's coming though.
They're
Yeah.
damn right.
Like,
It's
it's
just a
on the way.
smoke screen.
We're due.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Your wife's
These
looking
guys-
at your wife's
so-
looking at me around the corner, going, "Yeah, trust me."
These guys are fucking awesome. I gotta tell
Oh,
you.
I do. I love them.
So they
I love
came to Austin a couple times to hang out. One time they came and we were just doing some training. We were doing some over the shoulder training and getting them in the office.
Is
showing
that what
them
you're calling
systems. I don't know what we called it, but we were showing them some systems, making sure documentation, doing some clinical stuff, all that kind of stuff. And then of course, like on the side, we're like, we'll do some meetings and that kind of stuff. And then let's go out, have dinner, have a good time, have a few drinks and all that kind of stuff.
And not invite Matt.
And the next time they came was for like a follow-up. They're like, all right, sometimes it's like almost like people come a little too soon.
Yeah, right.
Like
you don't know what questions.
I've never had that issue.
you don't.
I didn't know. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna say it.
I'm so
Fuck
sorry.
Did your mom watch this podcast?
Yeah.
My mom died 3 years ago.
Oh.
Thank you, Rob. On Christmas.
7 for mine. Okay, he's
it's-
up.
So I also don't have that problem, but some people do. And that might have been you guys early on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we were like, hey, I want to come do training and learn about everything. And I'm like, okay, yeah, come. And then it's like, but they're not really seeing patients yet. They haven't built their space yet. And they don't really even know what questions to ask.
That's fair.
And so it's almost like if you just jump in and do it first and then you come do your training, you'll get more out of it, I think.
I think it was almost at first just to see the vision, what we want to become. Like, see, this is how big our team we need eventually.
So I'm curious. I know your role. So when you would come in after they've learned or they failed or all this, would he go out with like a bin? Would he go out with and make calls?
So they came
Awesome.
and we I think we went
Dude, your
to a
program's
doctor meeting
excellent.
together or did a doctor's meeting and something. Then they came to a team meeting. We had, and then they came back for a weekend. I don't even think we did any business.
No,
on that
they just
trip.
wanted to come to Austin.
But we went to the Texas versus, it wasn't Ohio State. The Ohio State played you all, went to a bar before that, which is probably a mistake. But it was Texas and somebody football game. And we go to the football game and had a freaking blast with these guys. But we show up. So I show up to the bar. We're meeting at like cover 3. And I show up to the bar and they're like just hanging out, making friends, talking to people that live here in Austin.
Shocker.
Next thing I know, they're like pimping my business. They're like, oh, you got to go sleep better, Austin. Yeah, you snore. You got to go see. I mean, and that's the thing about like what I love about sleep, it's just like anywhere you go, all of a sudden, it's like you become a sleep evangelist.
Hey, on the plane today,
Yeah.
on the plane today, a very portly man fell asleep on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And he snored a
Yeah.
lot. And he had I'll say it, a ResMed machine that he did a carry on. And I told him, I said,
Glad he took it with him.
He did. No, he
Yeah.
did. And he swore by it.
Yeah.
But I just said, here's another opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, here's another opportunity. Actually, I almost lied. It's when I flew to Oklahoma City. So
Yeah.
I landed in Oklahoma City, or I would have told him about you. But I think, no, I'm being dead serious. Anytime I fly, Austin.
We hear about that all the time. People in
No, he
numbers
knows.
around here.
Yeah.
Like, how many people have been referred to you? How many patients?
But that was the funny thing about it is they're like, you got to go to Sleep Better Austin. And the guy's like, oh, I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
And that's where we started talking about brand development and, you know.
And then went, hey, there's that guy that wears the Lucky AF shirt and doesn't shave his neck.
That came out of nowhere. That felt a little left field.
Okay, are you getting me back for the last episode?
Yeah,
Feels
pretty
a little
much.
left
Fucking
field.
asshole.
No, you were hard on me last episode.
It's not the first time anybody's been hard on you.
So we were talking about
Just
Sleep
say it,
Better
like,
Austin.
it
We're
was
talking
like-
about Sleep Better Austin, I think.
I haven't shaved in a couple of days. I'm going to see my hair cutter
looks good.
tomorrow.
Is that what you mean by laser specialist?
No, she's gonna trim it up. So
and then do a Brazil.
although I
and whatever
know, you know what I did though?
A
Have you guys-
bleaching somewhere in there.
So Jenny convinced me to do the Fraxel laser treatment and the micro needling. Have you ever done the micro needling? Have you done the micro needling? Your skin's like perfection.
Oh.
And I don't think.
Hey,
have
you better
any
watch
need
this
for it,
silver fox.
but you might want to try micro needling.
Sure.
Look at
based on
his
what I've
skin.
seen.
It's
Thank you
oh
for
my
saying
god,
that.
it's like a
But-
baby's butt.
No, it's like anyways, we'll talk about that later. So
What is micro? No, you're in now.
okay. So what they do is
Okay, I got
they
it.
needle your face like these tiny little
But like
needles.
Christy with dry needling, or
No,
Okay,
it's like a dermatologist. And it like punctures like these little holes in your face.
okay.
And then they rub serum and you bleed and they rub it in. It's like the vampire facial. And it stimulates collagen production.
Is that all they had to tell you? That stimulant to get you in there?
They said
I will tell
stimulates and I was sold.
No,
Yeah.
hear me out. This is what I
100%.
love about this dude, and,
Yeah.
and thank you to Handsome Dan for recommending this. We're gonna do a drip line. Dude, he's into all this stuff. Healthy as a horse, man. I'm telling you, he's really is. Him
I
and
try.
his girlfriend.
I try.
By the way, I saw the new equipment in the garage. I
Yeah,
messed
we
with
got
it.
the ski erg.
Ooh,
yeah.
Is that what it's called?
It's ski erg.
Co-
Yeah.
I guess your college football days die hard.
Oh man, college football days.
No,
drive really
he
hard.
he does.
Yeah.
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 Dan, am I right? Hold on.
What's your
mic, Dan? Handsome Dan, am I right?
He doesn't have a mic.
Literally, you don't have a mic at all. Right.
What?
No, he's into everything. Like
Dan, we
the
can swivel
drips,
this.
sure.
That's also true.
He does what? The drips, the sovereign, the
NAD,
supplements.
The supplements.
He has a
the
trainer
supplements,
comes.
the,
Dude, he
yep,
is.
There was something about drinking baby's blood.
Yep. And what else?
I drink
No,
baby's
there was
blood.
another one. Oh,
Yeah.
virgins, something with
Good
virgins.
Something like that, right?
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Sacrificial. Yeah.
I mean, he's into it all.
So 1 year you see your first patient. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
derail
All
you
good.
here.
It's all good.
They've watched the podcast.
1 year you see your first patient. Brand development. The struggles were getting shot down from physicians. It sounded like you were going to mostly sleep physicians, though.
There you
did you start to
go.
kind of branch out and talk to other physicians, or like where do most of your patients come from now?
Boy, it's a mix. I mean, it's really like there's a lot of sleep patients or a lot of like nurse practitioners that refer to us that are
Yeah.
from sleep, but primary care,
They're in pulmonology, those nurse
pulmonology,
practitioners.
wellness.
Yeah.
Like we get some chiropractors in there.
A
Yeah.
lot of primary care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We find so I find that the sleep doctors are still fairly heavily biased towards CPAP.
We were blessed
Most-
to be in
yeah.
Columbus with Dr. Asim Roy, who is on the cutting edge
Name
of
drop.
like any technology, even pharmaceuticals, like for in the Excite,
Yeah.
Inspire. He sends us probably 5 research papers every single day. He's like so
That's
on point
awesome.
with knowing about stuff in the field, and so like he really helps spur our development as well too. Like we can't really.
We definitely got, if you find somebody that you connect with well, who's
Yeah.
on that side of it, man, just
So there's
Build
this
something.
there's this amazing program. I will rep. I don't usually do this about SomnoMed. I will rep my company. So we're part of a program that has this unbelievable data that will show you every single CPAP that has been written in a 50-mile radius from every single physician. And so what happened during the pandemic, which is interesting, right? So Phillips went down about 10 months ago now, and ResMed had to fill it in. Well, they're only going to fill in those guys who write 80 to 100 a month, or the bigger DMEs and nationals. But you had these little, and I don't mean little, meaning like you had these general practitioners that were writing 5 to 6. Mm-hmm. They're not getting CPAPs brought to them.
No.
Wow.
Those are the targets that's why I want to be a rep. Those are the targets that, the sales reps need to go after because there is no offer. Brandon made a good point. When I first came into this company, I was like, oh my God, I have all these relationships with neurologists, these sleep doctors, pulmonologists. I know these sleep centers and these sleep, labs and all this. But where I get most of the push, it has nothing to do with that, because there is. I don't know if did you use the word biased?
Bias. Yeah.
And can I tell a personal story?
Yeah.
I
please.
think, and I won't give the town. I think that there are people so ingrained in CPAP because of what it does. And I will get on camera and say this live because I sold it for years. They will put duct tape around someone's face to make sure that every month that they get resupply. And it's a shame when there's another option out there. We have amazing sleep dentistry out there. We have amazing products out there for oral devices that can do anything for an AHI 30 or below, right?
Money talks.
Money talks.
AHI.
Because here's the issue. Hold on for failures. But we look at it this way. Notice how I still stayed still.
Yeah.
The issue is that there is no resupply there. So who's not getting paid? Once we figured that out as an industry, all of us, my good friend Brandon and I talked about it. Once you figure that out, you go, okay, wait a second. If it's about the patient, if it's about the hugs, if it's about treating those patients, what are we doing better? So it's not that we're getting away from those experts, because they're experts in sleep. But what we're doing is we're showing that there's a different way. Here's my question to the two dentists in the room. I've said this to every dentist we've had here. I believe it's called dentist on dentist crime. I don't know why. I have no idea why the rules and regulations are the way they are. Yeah. And we have people that are lobbying and everything. You guys should be free to practice HST, sleep medicine, all that. Since you guys have been in this industry, Brandon's probably a little longer than you. Mm-hmm. Do we see do we see something happening there where you'll have more freedom? What? No.
I mean, I think there's freedom, like most state dental boards allow you to do dental sleep medicine without too many restrictions.
Ohio's a little, I wouldn't say loose, but we're not super tight with that stuff, right? There's not a ton of guidance.
And I know we want to be careful what we say on.
So
100%.
There's some politics here, and I think that some people have their sights kind of just focused on the wrong things. I think we can all play in this sandbox together. I think, unfortunately, it's not the politics or even the sleep physicians or the organizations as much as it is the insurance companies that are dictating where people can do and what you can't do.
Where does that start, though?
Well,
we could. I mean, that's podcast number 2.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
Well, no, meaning I think so. I'll be the one to say it because I came from that sleep background, right?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I think when I first got hired on, I never even heard of Somnomed. I never heard of Proson. I never heard of. I mean, I was selling CPAP,
Phillips,
right? I was
Phillips? Okay.
I was killing it, man. I never heard of any of these. Yeah. And then when I started asking people that I respect and know, they hadn't heard of them. Then I started going, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And why is there that barrier? Well, now I'd like to say, since I've been in my territory and my team have done, getting to know the industry, getting to know guys like you. But here's the deal. The practice itself, and HST is an HST, guys.
I agree.
And to me, I just think that, and if we can speak boldly here, I think that that's what happened when AASM separated from AADSM. They used to do back to back because I used to go to both.
Right.
Well, it's a turf war, right?
But you said it was more about insurance. I think it's about the doctors.
Well,
man.
I'll
say it.
Well,
I'll say it right here.
I think, different things. I think there's two kind of things at play, but
But it's not like we're interpreting that data. We're just like ordering the sleep test.
So that's really like you're not interpreting the results. You're not making a diagnosis. You're just saying this is what the study says. But I think there's obviously some politics on the AASM and the DSM, and boy, that's a whole nother level. But I think what sleep doctors get a little, or what that industry gets a little iffy about is when, like, the overzealous dentist that thinks he can manage the chronic disease, right? Because sleep apnea is sometimes. Sure. Calm down. I think it's a chronic disease that needs managed. It's not as easy as just putting an appliance. There's a lot more to it.
And so that's bad on dentists. There are some dentists
on the squeaky wheel
that have gone out and said, "Oh, we don't need doctors. I can do all this by myself. We don't need physicians. We don't need sleep doctors. Blah 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 blah." That's some. And they maybe have rubbed some people the wrong way and created a bad name for the industry.
And maybe just the ones I've run into.
Then on the flip side of that, you have
I'm being serious.
You have some sleep doctors that say dentists have no role in this. The oral appliance never will work. The device is not it doesn't work. It causes pain. There's no data. It's only CPAP or TMJ, and it costs too much and no coverage and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And so that's the politics that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the turf war where we have DME companies, dentists, sleep physicians that are all fighting over this tiny percentage of patients that have actually been diagnosed.
There's a billion people with sleep apnea. Cut it out.
So when I came on, I go, I'm gonna. When I came on Sonomed, I go, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I have all these relationships with the DMEs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tight. Like, that was strategic account manager. I'm like, oh my God. Then I found out, dentists can't work for a DME.
Yeah.
And so I started doing my research. I think we talked about it. Started doing my research. I'm like, okay. And I believe it or not, I can be smart at times. And I started doing my research and went, the reason that law got put in place was because they wouldn't let dentists work for a DME.
Yeah.
Even before sleep.
Now, there are many states where dentists can order home sleep tests.
No, but I'm just talking the DME side.
Well,
there's umbrellas and there's ways that we do it. But I will say that's my point being, again, I'm talking from the new guy perspective. You guys have all been at longer than me.
Well, and if you're just dealing with patients and cash, then it's not a big deal. But when you start dealing with medical insurance, all of a sudden you have the medical insurance rules. And we all know medical insurance is, we mentioned the acronym for medical insurance is not easy. It's
John Neerman, everybody. He did not give the quote. So I want to make that clear.
But
Mr. Neerman did not give, that was a Brandon quote.
Medical insurances obviously are in the business to make money.
Yes.
And so they have every single type of rule and restriction to make sure that everything that they pay for and that they cover is within reason, and it follows every dotted T and crossed I. I think reverse that.
Because I've never crossed an I. That's
so that's where the issue comes, because dentists can, in many states, most states can order a home sleep test. But then it's when the insurance all of a sudden looks at it, the insurance company says, "Oh, well that test was ordered by a dentist, not a doctor. It's not a legal issue. It's the insurance says under our policy, the way it's written, that has to be ordered by an MD, a nurse practitioner, a PA, and so we're not covering it. And if you do any treatment, we're not covering that." And so that's where, you haven't had a face-to-face with a medical doctor. I like to call them the RDs, the real doctors.
And I love it that now there's even and I won't talk about which managed care it is, but now they're even going against the virtual. They're like, we need a before and after, double check. Yeah.
We're talking about United.
I'm not talking about anything.
United what?
But the insurance is huge, and like that's the reason that we were finding out, from once we started knowing sleep docs, like Dr. Roy, he's like, I don't want to just send them down the street where they might get a $3,000 cash.
Now, in all fairness, like Roy, the one who came in, who
tell it in,
thank you,
and so we learned a lot from him, just knowing all the barriers. And,
but you have that relationship. So my point, and going back to kind of what I was saying is when you marry the two, the medical initiative that I got hired to do, it's awesome. When they get along and you're like, oh my gosh, they work in concert. It is beautiful. It is a song.
Well, that's
the way it should be.
Once we got really friendly with him, and he knew like we're doing good work. We're like, why don't we just go to your office? That's like where the patients are.
We talk about
this. And so that's when we started doing this mobile model where we
Yep.
just load up the digital scanner in our car, go there, and
What kind of
see his
scanner are you
patients.
using?
Oh, don't get me started.
No, don't. No,
It-
wait.
Well,
What?
is this
Yeah.
recorded?
Yeah.
We use the CareStream 3600,
Okay.
and it
You have
has
that at one of
fallen
your
short
offices.
of the fallen short of the mark
Okay,
on a lot of
so
levels.
are we sure we want to say that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
right.
If you want to say it. we'll
Customer
do it.
service not that great. The software updates, you don't hear. about
CareStream is
anything.
happy to come on our podcast and defend.
I agree.
themselves.
Yeah, how many different sensors have they given us since we started?
We've had 4 wands, 5 wands since we
What
started.
I want to do, those are all the customer service guys.
Yeah.
Say that was a good joke. Let's off like tonight at dinner. I'm going to give you 2 numbers.
Perfect.
Save your life.
Yes, sir.
And it's a different company. And I will tell you
Who are
right
you gonna
now.
recommend?
Oh no,
Not today.
I can't. I will tell you that there's 2
I'm just
companies out there
curious.
that do it right, man.
Okay. Can you
Um,
wink if one of them is MedIT? Medit. Okay, there go the ears. Okay, I'm not seeing a wink.
Why'd you look at these? See, I tuck them in so they're not.
Well, you
as
made-
big.
You made it easy.
I'd say bang for your buck. That I met at 700 is probably
Yeah.
that's where we're gonna.
I've heard a lot of
That's
okay,
where we're
good
gonna
stuff.
be. That's where we're going with our latest location.
So
probably.
besides a real doll, Brandon has gotten into AI and some other stuff that he does for surgery. And we got into one of our podcasts.
Mhm.
Have you guys entered into any of the mechanical stuff? Am I saying that right?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So you went to a, remember, you know what I'm talking about. He went to, it's like almost virtual surgery.
Oh, guided surgery.
Yeah.
Guided surgery.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you called it AI, so-
robotics.
yeah.
And yeah.
And
that
his,
kind of stuff.
I always bring up his real doll, although Jenny has no idea about his real doll. We gave it to Dan as a housewarming present.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect. And then
Are you
Okay.
doing any of that? Like
You doing
in
any of the
your
dolls?
practices?
That's got nothing to do with
not,
sleep.
not real doll. No, I'm
Guided
talking about
surgery?
guided
Yeah.
surgery.
Guided surgery. Implants. You place
Oh
implants?
no.
Man, he was. So you went to that conference stuff. So that's not a. I was in an office this week where they did it, like for everything.
Oh
And
really?
I was like,
Wow.
oh my god, there's no human touch.
Yeah. There was a guy that
It's beautiful. No, it. I was freaked out. I sat down just to do a cleaning to
Yeah.
see how it worked. I won't tell you where I was at. It was in Oklahoma, and it was fascinating. And I think that's the future. Like, where
Interesting.
they're- yeah.
Get rid of the last human touch that the dentist had, huh?
Or
He's
the
trying to
dentist, or-
trying to
Yeah.
wipe you out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, everybody wanted to get into sleep at that point then.
I thought you said you were going to buy something that did that.
Well, we were
apologize.
talking about the robotic implant place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yomi.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool stuff. I'm looking at it.
Okay. Still.
Yeah. Still looking at it.
And you don't
Yeah.
do any of that.
I
there-
don't know anything about dentistry.
He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't
don't know anything about
yeah.
dentistry.
You like Yomi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who you talk to?
I saw them at a trade show.
Yeah.
And,
that
course you
is Mr. Neerman off
course you
camera, everybody.
Yeah, that's
Progressive Dental
Yeah.
implant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So-
I met with those guys.
We talked about the struggles working with physicians, growing the business, branding. Also, you mentioned kind of early on that there was competition in your area that already had a stronghold on
Yep.
the market.
I honestly
Yeah.
didn't remember
What
this.
now that you are where you are, what do you have to say to the dentists that are out there that are saying, oh, there's no way I can do this.
Brandon Hedgecock's in time,
already
yeah.
here.
It's just the tide rises all the boats. Like the more people out there talking about it, even if he's paying for the radio ads, I think indirectly that helps us. Like I just the awareness of oral appliances still needs to be way greater than what it is. And
I love it.
again 1 billion people in the
Exactly,
world could
yeah.
have sleep at 54 million in the United States. I mean, like if you worry about
Makes
treating the
more
first
than enough
100
to share.
patients
Yeah.
before you worry about splitting them all with somebody, right?
So I love vision.
Yeah.
What do you guys see for your business in terms of what's your 10-year target? What is the idea here for what you guys want to do and the impact that you want to have?
Yeah, actually,
mobile probably.
yeah, really interesting. We've kind of developed this mobile concept, which really early on in our business model, the best thing you can do is listen to the patient, right? How'd you get here? What hoops did you have to jump through?
Yeah.
All these sort of things. So
knocking down the barriers.
We basically, we developed this mobile concept that we just go, why don't we just go where you get diagnosed, right?
I love this.
So we, we definitely see in Ohio kind of growing these mobile accounts. We just kind of continue to pick those up. So, once a month, twice a month, we'll go to this physician's office. We'll set up in 1-2 rooms. We'll see 10, 15 patients.
Yeah, about 15.
Yeah. And then, we'll see you next month and deliver them, and you kind of just roll it, right? So I think that all states, Ohio is definitely prime for that sort of thing. So we want to have a physical location,
Right.
but there's just so much opportunity for us to help other physicians and other patients.
Well, and this,
Yeah.
I think part of our medical initiative with the company I'm with, Somnomed,
Mhm.
we literally, we did that.
They're great
And
supporters.
We
of
literally
this.
branched that out with a great partner in Keith Matheny, who will be on here one day, CEO
Yeah.
of USCNT. So where we bring those dentists and we put them in.
Yep.
And it has been a beautiful model in my territory, at least.
Yep.
Is it right for every dentist? No. It's just not.
But we're talking about some
Yeah.
of the dentists, with like those physical issues who maybe only want to do it part time
Mhm.
at a certain point in their career, or even like dental school classes anymore are over 50% female. Maybe they're coming back from a pregnancy. They don't want to
Yeah.
go back to the grind of doing general dentistry. We have a great alternative for them.
I
1-2
love
days
it.
a week.
Yep.
Pop in these offices, do non-backbreaking work.
It's
You know,
easy.
it's not
Yep.
you're not stabbing people with needles, having people screaming in your face.
Stabbing
like-
with needles, he says. I love it.
I love that band. I
Not
think they opened up for
yeah.
Pearl
You're not
Jam
creating
in
dust.
95.
Yeah.
Stabbing with needles.
Stabbing with needles.
But no, I think so that model, and then to hear you guys in that mobile, I love and watching your posts and LinkedIn, Facebook, and all that. I was like, oh my gosh, so I thought I created it. Obviously I didn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
That this is how we don't circumvent. It's literally how we work. I call it stickiness, right?
Mm.
And what I try to do in each area where I work is I get a network of people together, whether it be the ENT, the pulmonologist, the sleep dentist. Obviously, I get the sleep lab involved, the DM, everybody involved to work together to say, listen, and no patient left behind is my
Yeah.
cheesy thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's true. Back in the day, you go to doctors and say,
Still
hey,
that from Hillary Clinton.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. No, was that No Child Left
No,
Behind?
Yeah, I
that
think
was-
there was no
Oh,
child.
that
was
was George
education.
Bush's educational.
That was
I mean, I'm going to
education.
tell you
Way
right
before.
now that you just said that word. Can we beep that out?
Which word, George?
I mean, that's
Bush or
pretty
Hillary
offensive.
Clinton? Which one?
Either way. I love George Clinton. Great music.
People.
My point is that we get these groups together. And so what we do is once a month is we all get together and we talk about that same patient.
Mm.
In the old days, a patient would go, and this is my CPAP world. The old patient would go and go, oh, do you snore? Oh, we'll send you out here for a sleep lab. You go to sleep lab
Months.
and you do and so now I'm dealing with VA stuff. And VA world is hilarious,
Oh.
meaning you served. Thank you again. It is crazy to me that I met with someone in September and I go, so where are you at? This is right outside of Fort Hood.
Mm-hmm.
It's with Lynn Liptap.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, I'm going to get my test, my HST. I go, when are you getting it? December. That just shows you the level. So that stickiness that I'm talking about,
Yeah.
the dentist going in, going, hey, we could help.
Yeah.
Right here. And in other areas, I got them working in palm centers. I got them working in sleep labs. I got them working in clinics 1 day a week where they're right there. They're right down the hall.
Yeah.
Yep.
The best is when they offer, they go, hey, do you want this or this? And I'll go back to y'all's video. I love CPAP, but do you want a CPAP or do you want this?
We have every consult room. We have a CPAP head
Yeah,
with
it's
the
a waste.
mask
We must have got that
and,
from you.
and the hose
Definitely.
and the bedside table
Yep.
thing. And then of course we have the demo
Yeah.
and we're just
putting it
Probably
Well, did-
multiple demos, hopefully, at this
Did you,
point.
Yeah,
did
so
you
many
see the social media thing we put out recently with Colin on there?
Oh,
Where
it's
him with
so
the mask
good.
on and then
It's
him with the
so
pints,
good.
like, who'd you rather wake up next to?
It's so good.
I
It's
haven't
like
seen
No, look,
it.
he doesn't do
I
social media.
don't
We
do
guys
social media.
just watch the shows.
Sure.
Just say yes.
I'm on.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'll
man.
watch it.
Yeah.
No. It was awesome.
It was
Just-
great.
Man, that was awesome.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm trying to teach.
So if people want to find you guys, because we got to wrap this up.
Oh,
you.
shit.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Already?
Yeah. I'm not invited to the dinner at 8, but yeah, let's go.
Dinner at 8.
Yep.
It's going to be fantastic.
It will.
Where are we going, Rob?
Do
Where
all
are we
say-
going?
Fonda San Miguel.
Fonda, San Miguel.
There he
Is Jenny
Austin,
going?
Texas. Jenny's going.
I'm
Well, that's the
freaking
plan. As soon-
going, dude.
Yeah,
Okay,
you are.
come on.
I have a date.
And but if you're in Ohio, or anywhere, and you want to talk to these guys, or you want to learn about their company, or you want to learn about how they can help you sleep
And we
better,
will end this podcast with their video.
Yes.
My word.
Where do they go?
Ohio Sleep Treatment.
Yeah.
Sleeptreatmentoh.com.
Yeah.
Sleep DDS is our mobile model.
Okay.
MobileDSM.com. Yeah. I mean, we're, we think we feel so strongly about this collaborative model.
Yeah.
We would love to have conversations with dentists and get this going. I mean, the sooner, the faster we unite medicine and dentistry, the better.
Awesome.
There's so many different ways to do
And
that.
And you have some social media tags as well.
At Ohio Sleep is how you can find us on the gram and on Facebook, and I think the same on LinkedIn too.
And then Grindr profiles.
So I will say this because
we'll post those in the show notes.
We'll have to
just put those in the show notes.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right. So I end every podcast usually like this, and I won't be too sappy. Your friendship has been awesome. And I will tell you, from a guy who's new into this whole dental sleep world, what a refreshing light. Y'all's friendship and partnership, I wanted to highlight during this podcast that we have. I know that it's possible out there. I believe so much in this industry that obviously I sacrificed time to do a podcast with my good friend, and I'm in the industry. But what you guys are doing, and you keep believing, like your attitude, and I alluded to that earlier. Like Rob, you're infectious, man. Mm-hmm. You just, I goof. I sent you a koozie. Like you're just like, you challenge me, and as sales guys and what we do, I know you dentist nerds can talk in a minute, but it really refreshes me that you do that. So I'm honored that you guys came down, and my man Brandon. You're refreshing. I could tell, Brandon and I've talked a little bit about you, but getting to meet you guys, like what you're doing is strictly out of
separate
passion.
the brands. Canfield's too. Yeah. Hedgecock.
Well, I call you Hedgecock. He's Brandon.
I think you just call him Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say this, that I think that because your personal experience, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
A lot of people need to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when you realize that you have an issue, it could be a girlfriend, wife, as Dan's case, boyfriend, it could be anybody, that tells you have an issue. You took charge, and y'all are in freaking Thailand.
Yeah. That's where you take charge.
That's pretty cool.
I'm being dead serious. And you pulled out, Prosomnus. Plus you're like, dude, this thing helps. So, man,
I wear a Somnomed right now.
Oh, I know you are. By the way,
Somnomed herps.
I know you are. Thank you.
And you know what? Thank you guys, because like we're, I don't think that the dental sleep medicine industry is stale or boring by any means. Obviously, there's groups like iOS and all that stuff out there, but this shit right here is so much fun. You guys have such an eclectic group of, sleep professionals, music. I mean, the more positivity we can draw to this industry that's what it needs.
Agree.
What you guys are doing, the mission that you're on right now is phenomenal. So thank you both.
Appreciate
for
that.
Appreciate
you guys.
That. And I actually, on the subject of that koozie, I actually bought you guys a couple of gifts to bring, but they were shot glasses. And I'm on my way here with my wife. She's like, "Are you 19 that you bought a shot glass as a gift?" So I threw them in the trash.
No.
So, yeah.
Did you really?
I swear to God, they were like little shot glasses that.
So
lock.
you let your wife like demean you like that?
No, she usually gives me good. Yeah, she usually gives me good advice.
By the way, she's beautiful. She looks nothing like handsome Dan shaved. All right, Brandon, do you want to say something?
No, I just love you guys, and I appreciate what you're doing. It's so exciting for me to see people start this business and grow and commit to it. And you're impacting lives. And the whole reason that I even got into coaching in the first place was to try and help expand the impact that we can have on other people and in other places. And you guys are helping fulfill that. And I appreciate it and love you guys.
Man, I love the mission.
Love you guys too, man.
Hey guys, thank you so much for sleeping around.
That's right.
Dr. Brandon, Matthew, and the handsome Dan. Love you guys.
Have you been on my mind? Is that song? Cue it.
Cue the song. Cue the song. Mark Broussard.
When the sun goes down and the moon is high, we'll be chasing stars till the morning light. Come on, fly with me. Take a ride with me. And it feels so good to break away.
How can we get this stuff out?
Great job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes quick.
It does, right? I mean,